Welcome back to the grind. I wanted to make a quick video on most efficiently dealing damage and actually not always rotating and maybe having one player who has the better champion just going back to back several times to maximize your efficiency. And as you can see here, we're looking at the charges and we don't have 10 on either of us yet. So we are rotating because you want to and you don't have to, but it is ideal to rotate until you're ramped up, which only takes 1 to 2 rounds at tops. Now I'm going in with this fight and I need to complete as many missions as possible because each mission you complete gives you fervor, and then at 50 it converts into a charge, and those charges are what gives your team bonus damage. Now as Vanguard, the missions I complete are converting into tactician charges, and tactician charges and assault charges are what gives me bonus damage. I don't have any bonus damage yet until I complete until I earn 1 full charge. So I'm doing these missions and earning charges, and once I hit 50 with this next mission, now I gained a charge and I have 14 total charges because I've accessed all the charges on my teammates. Now I completed another one and it went from 14 to 15 because I'm gaining tactician charges, increasing that number. Now it's at 16, as you can see here with that next mission. And now I'm skipping ahead briefly. Now I'm going to complete that next mission for 17 charges. And when I complete the next batch of missions, you'll see that the 17 doesn't change to 18. It actually stays as 17. So keep an eye on it here. And when I complete this next mission, you'll see that it stays there at 17. And that's because either you've already earned the max of 7 towards your teammate in one match, or they have crossed over 10 charges, because only 10 of each teammate's charges will contribute to your damage. So here you can see we've got a bunch of us have 15. So now at that point, I can go in multiple times if I wanted to. And each time I go in, it'll decrease by 1. So then it won't make a difference because the max bonus damage comes from 10 charges. So if I go in 5 times from 15 to 10, it still doesn't change the damage my teammates do. Now here's an example. Then you can see Vanguard went and gave a bunch of charges to Tactician. Tactician went and gave charges to Assault, and Vanguard has 1 less than before. But then once you have the rolls over 10, then you can sort of change the order as much as you want. So Tactician has 15 charges, which means if Tactician has extra revives, like regular AQ revives, and is doing decent damage with their champion, they can go in a bunch of times back to back because they've got extra charges allowing them to go in and, you know, clean up the fight or do a bunch of damage, especially if their teammates' champions aren't working well. Now, the only thing that happens is when Tactician drops below 10, then the other teammates will have decreased damage. And so you'll want the, say, Vanguard person to do 1 fight, complete a bunch of missions, and then top Tactician up again, allowing them to go a bunch more times if they want. Now, if the boss is down to 20 or 30% and your role has a bunch of charges, everyone else is maxed or at least above 10, then you can go in as many times as you want. And even if you drop below 10 charges, it doesn't matter. If you're planning to finish the boss, your charges don't affect your damage. It only affects your teammates' damage. So as Vanguard, I ended up one time running my charges below 10 using a bunch of low-level AQ revives because my teammates had charges over 10 and I was planning to just finish off the boss. So it didn't matter that my charges dropped below. It didn't change my damage. And as long as I wasn't relying on my teammates to go back in, it wouldn't have mattered that they would have had decreased damage. Now, if I did run my charges to, say, 5, for example, and I ran out of resources, Assault could go in next, and during their fight, quickly completing missions, they could ramp my charges back up to over 10 and then still have the max ramp. So really, it's not that big of a deal after the first 1 to 2 rounds to be perfectly cycling your champions. If you're not able to, you know, coordinate perfectly, you can do 3 to 4 runs once you're all ramped up. You can do do your 2 or 3 runs at one time, and instead of waiting for your teammates to kind of alternate back and forth. And then Vanguard can do their 3 runs in the morning, Tactician can do their 3 runs in the afternoon, and Assault can do their 3 runs in the evening. And everyone will have max damage for all of those fights as long as they had 13 to 15 charges at the start of that cycle. So I hope that this helps with, clearing things up and making the last couple days of this raid a little bit easier to juggle and maximize the efficiency of your item usage. And I might do a more broad raid guide in the future. And I hope to see you in the next video.